All right, so we're going to do a yoga meditation class today that focuses on a three-part breath, meaning that we hold the breath for three, or hold the poses rather, for three entire breaths. If you feel like it becomes too strenuous, then feel free to sit back in a child's pose as we go along. It is intended to be strenuous, and it's intended to have you focus on each and every pose as you're fully connected with the breath. So we're going to start in child's pose. You'll see me shifting the camera a little bit, tilting it forward, tilting it back, moving it. Please disregard that. All right, so let's sit back into child's pose. I'm going to angle the camera down a little bit here. So as we're sitting back into child's pose, just remember your options here. You might place a pillow or a block between the heels and the glutes if you feel like that flexion is too much in your knees. And then from here, walking your hands forward as much as you can. Feeling the stretch in your back. Feeling that tension. You're feeling as if the hips want to lift off of the heels, but you're staying low while you're reaching forward. So let's start our deep breathing here. 3 full breaths. You can engage in Ujjayi breathing, that ocean breath, or just simply breathing deeply, fully for 3. And then walking over to the right side, same thing here. Establishing that deep stretch, feeling as if the left hip wants to lift, rotating it down instead and dropping the left shoulder. 3 breaths. And then walking over to the other side, over to the left, rotating that right shoulder, right hip down. 3 deep breaths. And then from there, hands back by the feet. Drop the shoulders down. 3 breaths here. Feeling that stretch between the shoulder blades. And then arms forward again this time. Lifting the hips, curl the toes under, sit back into the heels. Broken toes, stretch. 3 breaths here, feeling that stretch in the soles of the feet, Achilles. Making your way into downward dog from here, pushing your hips up and back. 3 breaths. Coming forward to plank. 3 breaths. Spreading the fingers wide. Pushing back into downward dog. 3 breaths here. Coming forward to plank, tuck the tailbone under, making sure the back stays straight. And 3 breaths here. Last round, pushing up and back, downward dog, 3 breaths here. Forward plank, 3 breaths. And then sitting back into child's pose and resting here. Arms forward, curl the toes under, sitting back into the heels, broken toes stretch, 3 breaths here. Keep pushing the hips to the heels. Back into downward dog, 3 breaths. Maybe pedaling the heels, maybe nodding the head, yes, shaking no. And then stepping the left leg forward, place the foot between the hands. Low lunge, pull the foot forward if it doesn't arrive all the way up. Can you bring your knee down? Absolutely. Holding here, 3 breaths, fingertips either side, looking up at the ceiling. Back bending. And then from here, right hand to the inside of the left foot, left hand hip, rotating, looking over the left shoulder, lifting that left arm up, or maybe elbow outside and twisting and balancing at the same time. 3 breaths here. Back to center, both hands inside that left foot, coming down to the forearms. 3 breaths here. Back into downward dog, hips up and back. 3 breaths. Right leg forward, place the foot between the hands. And again here, establishing that deep hip flexor stretch. Knee up or knee down in the back. Fingertips either side, looking up at the ceiling. 3 breaths. And twisting, left hand inside, right hand hip, rotating, looking over that right shoulder, right arm up, holding, breathing. Maybe elbow outside, continuing to balance. And release back to lizard pose. 3 breaths here. Back into downward dog. And 3 breaths here. Belly towards the legs, cow tilt, extension of the spine. Forward to plank and holding here. 3 breaths. Tuck the tailbone under knees or feet. Back into downward dog, hips up and hop back. Belly towards the legs, 3 breaths. Forward to plank, 3 breaths here. Last round, hips up and back. Forward to plank, 3 breaths. We're almost there, I promise. Keep the back safe, tuck the tailbone under. And then walking up to the hands, hanging ragdoll. Releasing through the back body. Taking a few breaths here. Change the camera angle. And forget arm balances. We're going to go through the hardest thing for most people, which is patience. And patience to roll up all the way up to standing on a count of 3 breaths. It's taking a lot of time, so slowly coming up. And once you're all the way up, shoulders drawing down and back, palms face forward, chin parallel to the floor. So establishing Tadasana mountain pose, maybe picking the toes up and planting them back down, softness in the knees. Pull the belly in, closing your eyes. 3 breaths here. And then bring the arms out to a T, palms facing forward, shoulders dropping. Be mindful not to push the belly forward, but tuck the tailbone under, holding 3 breaths, maybe bring the arms back even further. Arms up overhead, palms together, drop the shoulders. Arms forward, tucking the chin. Maybe taking your hands to your head, elbows together. Releasing the arms down, inhaling the head up. 3 breaths here, Tadasana. From here, stepping into high lunge, right leg back 3 or 4 feet, heel up. 3 breaths here, arms up. Hands to your waist, lifting that knee up and holding, balancing here. Maybe holding on to the knee, and 3 breaths here. Releasing back down, stepping the left leg back 3 or 4 feet, high lunge, 3 breaths here. Drop your shoulders. Hands to your waist, pull that knee forward and lifting, maybe holding on to the knee, and 3 breaths here, standing up tall. Stepping back down, switching sides, right leg back 3 or 4 feet, heel down this time, warrior 1. Back foot at a 45-degree angle, rotating the right shoulder, right hip forward and holding. 3 breaths. Hands to your waist, pull that right leg forward. This time around, knee down, holding onto your ankle, left arm up, dancer's pose, or just holding, quad stretch, 3 breaths. Releasing that side down, switching sides, stepping the left leg back 3 or 4 feet, heel down, warrior 1. Left shoulder forward, left hip forward, 3 breaths. Hands to your waist, pull that left leg forward, knee down, holding onto your ankle, lifting that right arm up. Either here, quad stretch or dancer pose, holding 3 breaths. You're releasing there, switching sides, right leg back 3 or 4 feet this time. Back foot at a 90-degree angle, warrior 2. 3 breaths. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, all the way into the left. Drawing the right leg forward, lifting, stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips. Holding, breathing, 3 breaths. Back to warrior 2. Warrior 2 to peaceful warrior, holding 3 breaths. Hands to your waist, step that right leg forward, waist, step that right leg forward, and switching sides. Left leg back 3 or 4 feet, back foot at a 90-degree angle, warrior 2, tuck the tailbone under, holding 3 breaths. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, all the way into the right, drawing the left leg forward, lifting, holding, stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips, 3 breaths. Back into warrior 2. Right arm comes up and over, stretching that right side. Peaceful warrior, holding, breathing. Left hand can lightly rest on the leg or wrap around the waist. Big full breath. Hands back to your waist, step that left leg forward, back into Tadasana. Hands to heart center this time. Big full breath, eyes closed, 3 breaths. One breath per movement, inhaling the arms up. And exhaling, folding over all the way down, forward fold, 3 breaths here. Any variation that you like, shoulder rotations, holding on to your elbows, whatever feels good to you, 3 breaths. One breath per movement, inhaling halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Lowering yourself all the way down. Inhaling into cobra, dog. Exhale, push up and back, downward dog, 3 breaths. Forward to plank, 3 breaths. And then from there, sitting back into child's pose and 3 breaths there. Arms can be forward or back by the feet. Drop the shoulders down.